Okay. All right, let's find it again. There we go. And see, it'll get a louder one with the
So let's just get, so this story that I'm about to tell you guys is going to be that might freak you out, but I want this to be a testimony. I want this to be something that you guys can learn from. Ask questions and don't be afraid to go with your gut, okay? Because I didn't do any of that. So let's just start it over from the beginning, back it up some. When I found out I was pregnant, you guys, go check out my video. I will have it linked in the description below. When I found out I was pregnant, funny video, you guys, because I was completely shocked, okay? I thought after we had our first son, we were gonna be done, you know? Because we have 2 girls now and 2 boys. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was just like, oh my God, you know, I'm pregnant. You know, because we didn't plan at all. We were just shocked. And so I remember as I got bigger in the pregnancy and I started to show, it was this cloud over my head. Like I felt like something wasn't right. I couldn't quite put my hand on it. But as I got further along in my pregnancy, I started to feel something wasn't right. Not physically, not with my belly. It was just something in my gut telling me that I wasn't going to make it during the pregnancy. I don't know what it was, but it just kept haunting me, like almost just not haunting me, but just always on my mind. And so I just pushed it to the side. You know, I'm good with my faith. So I said, Lord, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I will be fine. I'm not worried about it. Like, what am I doing? I never did this with all of my other 3 kids. I will be fine, you know? So I remember going into my doctor's office and she did an ultrasound. So I guess they wanted. I am walking into my 36 weeks appointment. I feel like a blimp. That's fine. That's part of pregnancy. You feel it some days you don't. I'm gonna just make sure in on a little bit while I'm here today. So stay tuned. To make sure the baby, this was around the time when I was about to go in for my induction. So I think it was like a month or so, probably like a month or some weeks before. So they wanted to do a final ultrasound and everything. They did one and they saw that he turned. But not only did she saw that he turned, she saw that I was low-lying. And low-lying is when your placenta is very low, okay? Now, when she said that I was low-lying, I was like, what is that? I asked the ultrasound tech, like, what is that? She said, your doctor will explain it. We go back into the doctor's office and she said that, you know, a lot of patients that are low-lying, a lot of them, so low-lying means that like your placenta is very low. And the doctor basically explained normally when women are like that, they have to have a C-section. But she was like, you had all your kids naturally, so you should be fine. So I didn't think to ask any questions or anything like that because I should be fine. My doctor said I should be fine. I've had all my other kids naturally. I should be fine, right? So I didn't think to ask any questions, which I highly recommend that you do. You ask questions, you guys, because that's just, I think it's important too. So I didn't Google it. I didn't look it up. I didn't do any of that. So she went on to tell me I needed to that they were going to turn the baby as well. So I had to sign off on that because Alexander was turned the other way. But here's the thing, he wasn't turned where his head was at the top when it's supposed to be at the bottom. He was going straight across my belly, straight across like this. So he's supposed to be this way, head's supposed to be down here, but he was straight across my belly. So they scheduled me in to do that, the turning of the baby. So
they don't look like I'm gonna have them. Just the way it is. There's the head right there.
Really? Okay.
And there's the spine. Okay. I don't do any picture when it's like that.
okay, so I just did a, what is it? An ECV, and that is when the baby, he wasn't breached, but he was traversed, meaning he was laying like right across my belly, and they had to turn his head, you know, turn him so his head can be down at the bottom and his butt can be at the top. So that's what I just did, and it was successful. Woo! Say woo, buddy. Woo! Yay!
Like this is acceptable.
All right. Bye.
Love you.
And here he comes.
So they did that. Then it was time for me to go in at that time. So I was super excited. I'm like, oh my God, they turned the baby. It was successful, perfect. So it was time for me to go in. And guys, this is my last appointment before going to labor and delivery. So this is it. This is, look, got some watery on my belly, don't mind. Look at that belly. I'm carrying around, I think he's like 9 pounds now. I'm carrying around a 9-pound baby. Look. Still had this weird cloud over my head. We walked into the hospital room. The hospital, it just felt so weird. It didn't feel the same like it did with my other children. It felt gloomy. I didn't feel super excited. I didn't feel myself like I normally do. So we get in there, the room is dim and dark, and I just was in no windows. You know, I just wasn't feeling it at all. So we get in there, and I get in there and they start the induction. So one of the nurses come in and she say, oh my God, you're dilating. I'm like, okay, great. This is something new. Like, I don't normally dilate this quick, you know. All right, so I am 3 centimeters dilated. And I was already 2 centimeters before I came in. So I could have been 3, I don't know. But I am having contractions. It says that up there. But I'm not feeling any I never feel my contractions in the beginning. I'll just feel it like when they're like intense. But as far as like in the beginning, I don't feel it. I just feel like the pressure, and that's it. So the camera guy is sleeping over there, which is my husband. And so sorry about the quality of this part of the video. But yeah, so the baby will be here very, very soon. I'm super excited to meet you, and I can't wait. So yeah. Another nurse come in. She said, you're not dilating. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. The first nurse just told me I was dilating, and you're telling me I'm not dilating? So she said, no, you're not dilating. Another nurse come in. You're this centimeter. Another nurse come in, still 0 centimeters. So I was very, 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 very getting very frustrated because I was getting 2 different things from 2 different nurses. So I remember starting to feel pain as the time went on. And I mean, excruciating pain. But check this out, you guys. Even though I was feeling a lot of pain, I wasn't dilating at all. even though I was feeling pain, I was not dilating. That was weird to me. So they gave me an epidural, and I'm like, okay, the epidural it didn't work. Normally when I get an epidural, my legs start to go numb and immediately the pain goes away for a minute. Okay, with this epidural, I didn't feel anything. Okay, so the pain is just, it was almost like I was having 100% natural birth with an epidural. I didn't feel anything. So I remember the nurses in there. I told one of my doctors, I had 2 doctors, and that was like her assistant. I told her, I said, I think I need to have a C-section. My body is telling me that I need to have a C-section. I feel like something is wrong. It's just the meds talking. And this kind of goes back to doctors not believing Black women. And I don't like to pull the race card, you guys. You know, I'm not the one for that. But I just feel like a lot of times people think Black women are these strong women that can take anything. And that's not true. Sometimes we're human beings. So we feel pain. We know our bodies. We know what goes on with our bodies. It's our body, okay? And so I just hate that she didn't believe me. I was sitting there crying. I felt helpless. I'm like, no one believes me that I need to have a C-section. And you know me, you guys, I've had all my kids naturally. So I'm a big advocate for having your child naturally. But I just wasn't feeling it that day. I felt like my body was telling me what to do. Ask for a C-section. And that's what I did. I felt it. So they gave me another epidural instead. This epidural did make my legs feel numb like it normally does. And it did take a little of the pain away. Okay, so it's time to push. So they didn't tell me I don't remember them telling me how far along dilated I was. I just remember them saying I made progress and it was time to push. All right, pushed out Alexander. We're happy. My husband's right there. Clip the cord. We're super excited. And you know, they put Alexander on my belly. We're just kissing him, happy, rubbing off the you know how they rub off the blood and all that stuff. And they keep some of it on, rubbing them off and everything, and they take them over to get weighed. And so they sew me up. There's like, you need a little stitch here and you're good to go, right? So it's almost like they noticed something though. I have a video, I wish I could, I can't find it, but it's almost like I could tell in their eyes they noticed something, but they thought they put it together and sewed me up. So they sewed me up and they left out. This nurse, I call her my guardian angel. I wish I could just find her and give her the biggest hug. When the doctors walked out, she pushed on my stomach. She said, you need to tell the doctors to come back. She said, you are bleeding a little bit too much. She said, I've done this for years and I know what is normal, what's not normal. You're bleeding too much. They called the doctors in. Oh, it's nothing. We patched her up, we sew her up. They left again. And so she waited till they left. She came back. She pushed on my stomach. She said, you are bleeding too much. Called them back in here again. Now, mind you, if I didn't have that guardian angel with me, I would not be alive today. So she was truly my guardian angel, you guys, because why I say that is because without her, I don't think I would have, without God putting her there, I don't think I would have made it through. She got those doctors back in the room. They come in, they take the stitch off, and they noticed that I was I was losing tons of blood. So immediately they order me in some blood, a pack of blood about this much. So while they're ordering it, I can feel the weakness. It snuck up on me so fast. I had all this energy, then all of a sudden it just drained. When I tell you within seconds, it drained. It drained me. I was feeling clammy. I was feeling like I wanted to faint, even though I was laying down already. It was just, oh my God, I felt horrible. So once the blood got there and they gave it to me, I immediately felt my energy, got my energy back. And so she passed me this paper and she goes, you need to sign this paper. And I'm like, why am I signing this paper? She said, you might have to lose your uterus. And I said, okay. I'm like, I don't want to lose my uterus. She said, you either going to sign this paper or you're going to die. She said, because you're losing a lot of blood. And so I signed the paper. I remember them pushing me out to go to emergency surgery. I told my husband, I said, get my mom on the phone. Let her know what's going on. Because I know people are going to start calling, asking how the delivery and everything go. And so as I was going to the emergency room, I felt this presence with me, and I know it was God. I felt safe. I felt like everything was going to work out. That cloud that I've been telling you guys about that I was feeling throughout this whole pregnancy, it immediately went away. And I go into the emergency room, emergency surgery area. And just like in those movies where you see the big lights above you, the doctors talking and trying to figure out what's going on the table, it was a lot, you guys. So immediately I started praying. I started singing all the gospel music that I love. And it was one man in the back of me. He was trying to keep me calm. And I just remember them putting the oxygen thing over my face. And I don't remember anything after that. I guess I fell asleep. I wake up in the ICU, you guys. So I wake up in the ICU. Now here's the thing. I don't remember going into the ICU. I don't remember how I got in the ICU or any of that. What I do remember is feeling like tons of bricks were on my entire body. Like, because I was heavily sedated with so much medication in the ICU that you feel like you can't move. Okay, they had me on this breathing machine, this thing tucked down here that helps me breathe. They had me just hooked up to so much medication. I mean, to the point where they didn't know if I was gonna make it. The priest literally had to come in to pray with my mom and to pray with my husband while I was in the ICU. So I didn't know any of that either. At that time, I was still out. Okay, I was still asleep at that time. I remember hearing my husband's voice saying, oh, honey, I love you and everything. So I'm thinking in my mind, oh, I'm just sleeping. I'm still upstairs after having the baby. At that point, I didn't even remember what happened. Like I went to surgery and everything. So I remember trying to open my eyes and I couldn't open them. It felt like bricks were on my eyes. I'm like, what is going on? So I remember hearing my brother's voice. And my brother is a truck driver, so he doesn't come home quite often. So when I heard his voice, it made me wake up because I'm like, he's here at the hospital? So when I woke up, I guess I went back to sleep, because when I woke up, no one was in the room but my mom or my husband, one of the two. I can't even remember, guys. So much happened that day. And so I remember waking up violently, just very upset. I was snatching off the things they had on me. I was just like trying to take the thing out of my mouth. I didn't know what was going on. So I wake back. So I remember the nurse coming over to my IV, and pushing some medicine in, and it knocked me back out. And so I woke up again with boxing gloves on my hands because they didn't want me to tear off, all the different IVs and everything. So, I remember waking up, my husband was in there and he was like, honey, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. Like, what happened? Everything. So the doctor comes in. He's like, do you know what just happened to you? And I said, I don't. He was like, well, at first I said, you know what? I don't want to know. Is what I told him. I do not want to know. I don't want anything that's going to detour my mind, because I know I'm in the ICU and I don't want anything that's going to cause me stress or anything to make me stay in the ICU longer than what I have to. And he said, okay. He said, but you lost 9 units of blood. You lost your uterus. You do not have your uterus anymore. And you lost platelets. He said you have to keep that breathing machine in. At this point in time, they took the breathing machine out, so it's kind of going back and forth. But they took the tube thing out of my throat because I kept signing them, writing letters like, "Can someone take this out? I'm ready to talk." And they finally took that out. After they did all that, that's when the doctor comes in and tell me everything, right? And so he was just like, we're going to keep these things on your legs because we want the blood to stay circulating in your legs and everything like that. He was just telling me all what happened. And I was a little upset. But I didn't let that get beside me. I was a little upset because, they were like, well, you didn't want to have any more kids anyway, right? You got 2 girls, you got 2 boys. But it was like, I was saying to myself, I wanted to be the decider of if I have more children or not someone else, so that just kind of made me feel a little bad. So I remember him leaving out, and I pulled the blanket over my legs because I wanted to see what he meant by the things on my legs. You guys, my legs were swollen. They were huge. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't cry though, you guys. I kept praying. I kept listening to my gospel music. And I said, I'm not going to let this get beside me. I stayed strong like a warrior in there, you guys. I didn't lay down. I sat up. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do what they want you to do in the ICU. I'm going to put it in my mind that I'm already healed and my body will start to heal. And so I was like, where's my baby? I'm like, wait a minute, where's Alexander? When everything started to click, I'm like, okay, I need to see my baby. I requested for him to come down, and they brought him down. I remember when they brought him down, all the nurses were there, and they were just like, oh my God, I want to run in to see him. I've never in my life seen a baby in the ICU. So they were just so shocked by that. Every time they walked past my room, I was up, not physically all the way up, but sitting up, dancing to gospel music and everything, and just praying and just moving to gospel music and praying and just getting myself right and ready to mentally, not only physically get out of the ICU, but mentally get out of there as well. And so they told me why my legs were swollen is because when you have to do a huge blood transfusion like I had to have, because I lost 9 units of blood. The human has 12 units, I think, and I lost 9. They had to pour all that blood in so it goes straight to your leg. So that's why it was like that. So finally, you guys, fast forward a little bit, I get to leave the ICU. They unplugged me from everything. So I'm thinking, oh my God, once I get up to the high risk unit, it's gonna be easy. So little did I know though, okay? So I'm going down this hallway out of the ICU. All the light from the windows were just booming in. So I'm like, oh my God, I made it. I made it. I was just thanking God like, oh my God, I made it, okay? And so I get up to the high risk unit, and I get up there and I start feeling the pain. I start hallucinating because of all the different medications. It felt like butterflies were coming to my face. I was just fanning them away. I just started to feel it, okay? I started to feel all of that. And on top of that, I started to feel the pain of the cut that they had to cut right below my belly for the uterus. I also started, I figured out too on my way from the ICU down to the high risk unit that I couldn't really walk. After you have that type of surgery, you guys, it can take you from 8 to 12 weeks to start walking regular again. Okay, I couldn't get in and out of the bed by myself. I had to have nurses to get me in and out of the bed, to help me use the bathroom. It was a technique I had to get down on how to get out of the bed. I would teach you guys that if any mom's going through a hysterectomy, because that's what it's called when you lose your uterus, a hysterectomy. So I couldn't get out of the bed by myself, you guys, at all for 8 to 12 weeks. That's just after I left the hospital. So I never forget, Alex came down again. He came down to the high risk unit. I was still trying to breastfeed him, just trying to be a super mom, ready to leave the hospital. And the nurse was like, "You okay? You got it?" I said, "Yeah, I got it." She was like, "Your husband's," I said, "He went to go get the kids, and I'm, waiting he'd come back." Just excited the baby's down there, because my husband got to get more acquainted with Alexander in the beginning than I did, right? Because of I was in the ICU. Reached a call for the nurse, and the thing falls on the floor. And I'm like, oh my God, this can't be happening. So I put one leg down to try to grab it. You guys, when the leg kind of fell on its own, my leg, and it pulled my stitches away from my skin in my cut. You guys can only imagine that pain. It was horrendous. I screamed, okay? And I remember crying, picking my leg up and laying it back on the bed, holding Alexander and just crying, okay? Just crying. And I remember my nurse walks by finally, and she's like, "Was that you screaming?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I tried to call you, but the thing fell," or whatever. She was like, "Oh my God." She called the people down to get Alex. She helped me to the bathroom, and she fixed the little stitching area that I tore down there as well. So I'm just like, oh my God, that was the worst pain ever, okay? So fast forward a little bit, it was time for me to go home. And I thought this was gonna be an easy process, but it wasn't either. Like, it was a long road to recovery. Okay, let's back it up just a little. Before I left the hospital, a nurse came in, and she was one of the tons of nurses that crowded in the room when I was losing the blood and they were trying to rush me off to the emergency surgery. She came in to the high risk unit area. She ran in and she said, to the high risk unit. She ran in and she gave me this beautiful elephant blanket and a nice card. And she said, "Only thing I can remember is seeing your beautiful smile, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong." She said, "That has been with me for days now." She said, "And I want you to have this, and I want you to have this sweet card that I gave you." She said, "I just admire your strength and your wisdom." She said, "Because all I could just see was your beautiful smile, and you're excited to see your baby, and then you end up in the ICU." She said, "I actually went to the ICU and saw you there." She said, "And I haven't been able to get that out of my head." She said, "I'm just happy that you're alive and well." And so I thank her for that. I will never get rid of that elephant blanket. It is so cute. Alexander still has it, and that was really nice of her to do that. So I thought that was so sweet. So you guys, road to recovery. You guys, it was not an easy road. It took me literally almost 12 weeks to walk regular again. I couldn't walk up the steps. I couldn't get out the bed by myself. I couldn't take regular showers because they did not want the area where they cut me to get infected or anything like that. I had to kind of like bird bath. It was hard for me. With the help of my husband, my girls, they helped me out so good. My husband had to go to work. They helped me get in and out of the bed. It was just amazing. And then some days I felt sad. Just imagine having postpartum depression on top of recovering from a major surgery. So many days I just laid in the bed crying. Didn't know, just depressed, and just felt like I was a burden to people. It was a lot, you guys. But I made it through. My husband, he helped me. I remember I was making progress. The first progress I noticed that I was making was when I got out of the bed by myself. I remember my daughter Mariah, she ran downstairs. She almost cried. She said, "Mom, you did it. You got out the bed by yourself." She made me feel so good. I just remember going upstairs for the first time. I've been upstairs in my own kitchen for forever. I remember my husband taking me in the neighborhood to walk around, and I could really push Alexander for the first time in the stroller. Just super excited. You guys, I lost 9 units of blood. 9 units, and then I lost my uterus. So it took me almost 12 weeks to fully recover, but I did it, you guys. I did it. So, you know, if you are a mom that are afraid of these, we call them horror labor stories, a lot of these stories are there to protect you as well. Why I say that is because I shared my story because I don't want someone to go through what I went through. If I can help you not go through what I went through, that's what I'm here for, okay? So I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna give you guys some tips. I would say tip 1 is this. Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut, listen to your body, because you are your body. You know your body more than anybody. Number 2, ask questions. Ask questions, okay? If you feel like your doctor is not hearing you, go get another doctor. Just as simple. Get you another doctor that cares about you as a person and that believes in your opinion just as much as you believe in theirs, okay? Get you a doctor that you can trust and that you feel that trusts you as well and trust your opinion. Tip 3, I will have to say, would be to investigate. When your doctor say, oh, you may have preeclampsia, look that up. Google it. We now, you guys, have access to the internet more than we had in the 90s and the early 2000s. So anytime someone tells us something, you can Google it. You can go investigate. You can go and look these things up yourself so you can have knowledge about what's going on as well. Tip 4 will have to be to how can I say this? If you feel like no one is agreeing with you in the hospital, not listening to you, demand that they do, okay? I hate to say video record them or anything like that, but demand it. Say, I want to do this. Keep going. When I told her that I wanted to have a C-section, I should have kept going. I should have said, I want a C-section. I want a C-section. I want a C-section, ma'am. You know, keep going. Keep pressuring them till you get what you want. Now, if it's unsafe for you to do that and they can list the reasons why it's unsafe, okay, that's explainable. But if they're saying that it's safe and they just don't think it's a good idea, no. Good ideas is basically like your opinion on my body, okay? So I hope that those tips help you guys, and also to make sure you look at stories like this, because someone could give you tips. Someone could help you with what you're going through. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to look at these stories like I was. I used to be so afraid, thinking that, oh my God, I don't want that negative energy. And I'm not a negative energy person, but these stories can be very helpful. Also, too, you know, a lot of moms, you guys, especially Black moms, do not make it during their pregnancies. And I could have been one, but I wasn't. I'm here. I know God kept me alive for a reason, and that's to get it out to you guys that, guess what? You know, here are the tips. We can make it. These are the things that we need to demand as Black moms that are going, you know, that are having our babies. You know, take a moment of silence out for those moms that did not make it. So many moms have lost their lives, especially Black moms, to people not believing them in the hospital. It was one mom that her husband said they sold her up and left, like they did me, sold her up and left, and it was too late because he noticed the blood in her IV, and by that time she was gone. So you guys, we have to share. So share my video. Get my video out there so other moms that are pregnant, I can possibly help someone. It's another mom out there that could be low-lying or have a low-lying placenta and don't understand what that means, and is just going by whatever, you know, her doctor says she should do. And yes, we do listen to the doctor, but at the same time, we want to investigate on our own, because at the end of the day, these are our bodies we have to live with, you know. And I don't have a uterus anymore. I don't have a uterus anymore. I can't have any more kids, okay? And that's something that I wanted to, it's a decision I wanted to make on my own, not something that I felt was just kind of ripped away from me within instance, you know? But overall, I look at the glass half full and not empty, and I just thank God that I'm here, and I thank God that I'm able to share my story to help other moms that are going through labor. And one thing before I get off this my video, it was a beautiful lady that came into the ICU. She was just staring at me, and I'm like, you know, she was my nurse, and I'm like, are you okay? She was like, well, me and my husband was thinking about having kids, and I don't think we're gonna do it now, because this just to see how young you are and this happened to you. She was like, I don't think I can do it. I said, but you seem younger. I said, what? I said, how old are you? She said, I'm your age. I was born in 1983. And I was like, oh my God. She was like, so I said, but listen, do not let my story discourage you. Just let it be a testimony, a learning experience, that no matter what in life, you know, you can make it. Have your children. Don't let this like discourage you from having kids, you know? But I just want to thank my husband. He was my number. Oh my God, he was there with my every beck and call. My girls was there. My son Adam did a great job too, even though he was little. You know, I just still felt like I didn't get enough time with Alexander in the beginning. I couldn't stand up and hold him because I was still working on trying to walk regular. You know, being able to move my legs and all that stuff. But we had fun bedtime. We was in bed. I would nurse and I'll roll over. He roll over. We do all that kind of stuff. And I would like to thank my mom. She was there for me as well. And you know, it was just, and my cousin Andrea, she came over and cooked a dinner for us. So I'm just really thankful. You want to have a support system around you, and I'm just super thankful for life. I'm thankful for life, you guys. I almost didn't make it, guys, but I made it. So if you like videos like this, Storytime talks about labor and delivery, mommy tips. I do breastfeeding videos as well. I do vlogs, my family. Like, you guys, I'm talented in many areas, so I'm gonna show that on my channel, so you guys will never get bored over here at Dee's World. Okay, so make sure you click that subscribe button right now. Make sure you share my video and thumbs it up. Okay guys, I will see you guys for another video. Bye.